Police documents from a 2003 raid on Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch indicate that he was in possession of child pornography and other disturbing pornography that was allegedly used on children that went to his ranch. So the pornography that included both adults and children, animal torture, S&M, and gore, along with drugs to treat sex addiction with multiple prescriptions written by a variety of physicians. That's according to an Esquire/Radar Online report. Radar Online was the first to report this, and they also have posted the police documents in question. The police report claims that in Jackson's bedroom and bathroom alone, there were at least 7 collections of work found by investigators that show boys in their teenage years, and in some cases younger, fully nude or partially clothed. These materials include a book depicting nude children found in the singer's arcade room, a book which contained nude photographs of men in the master bedroom, and multiple books found in the master bedroom that included one with naked and semi-naked gay men and another with preteen or early teenage individuals who in some cases were nude or semi-nude. So, yes.
Okay, now let me give both sides to the story. And if you're wondering, what do you mean? What's the both sides to the story? Well, first off, some of the stuff I didn't like is being reported as like horrible things. So he had pictures of gay men. So what, right? And he had pictures of adults, porn of adults. So what? So that shouldn't be part of this story. S&M, so what? Okay. Animal cruelty is weird and wrong, and we're all disturbed by it. I don't know its particular pertinence to this, but then later they do explain its pertinence. Okay. And so I wish they hadn't mixed up all those things in one. I know it's in the same police report, but all of the articles that are written on it are talking about it like this is all so disturbing. No, half of it is deeply disturbing. Half of it is honestly perfectly normal. Now, part of my, I don't think it's fair to call it a bias, is that my perspective is that I once interviewed, or a couple times actually, interviewed Michael Jackson's lawyer, and off the air, when we were on Current TV, I had a long conversation with him, and since he's an excellent lawyer, he went a long way in convincing me that, hey, maybe you shouldn't believe everything you saw in the press, because the second set kid that he went to criminal trial for, his family had a long history of other accusations, etc. And he got me to go, now, for me at least, that issue's been resolved, because now let me present the other side of the case.
Go ahead.
So as you look at this, and a lot of people want to give Michael Jackson the benefit of the doubt for similar reasons to Bill Cosby. You grew up with him, you liked him, you love his music, etc. And I'm in that camp too. I wanted to give Bill Cosby the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to give Michael Jackson the benefit of the doubt. But experts, the prosecutors and the cops talk to say, look, I thought the prescription for the sex addiction might have been for him. They say he actually might have used that on the kids. And some of the stuff, including the animal cruelty, porn, etc., might have been to desensitize the kids. Now, this is not wild speculation, because they've seen this pattern in other child molesters before. And so you expose the kids to a lot of pornography, sometimes over-the-top cruel pornography, sometimes child pornography, to get them to go, oh, okay, it's no big deal. And so if it's a pattern. And then you see, look, there was the other charges a decade before the charges that got him in a lot of trouble in 2003, 2005, right? And the one before, there was a kid, and then Michael Jackson settled for $22 million.
Yes.
So, and there have been a lot of charges. We don't know how many of them got settled for how much money overall, but it's not definitive. But no matter how much money I have, I would be hard-pressed to settle on charges that I molested a kid for $22 million if I didn't do it.
Right.
And so when you look at the totality of it and the new police reports that come out, it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good, and it's interesting that all of this information is coming out now. And look, there were members of the jury, which acquitted him, by the way, that said, look, the reason why we acquitted him is because in a criminal case, you need to prove that someone is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, I wish that that same standard was actually applied to all people who face criminal charges. I mean, Stephen Avery popped in my head as soon as I read that quote, right? Because someone who's poor and doesn't have the resources and doesn't have the best attorneys doesn't get to get acquitted because they can't prove that someone's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But if you're someone like Michael Jackson, you have those resources. What I don't understand is if they have proof, including child pornography, and the prescription for sex addiction, how did that not play a role in finding him guilty?
But see, that's exactly what great lawyers buy you.
Yeah.
Whether you're the affluenza kid, whether you're the Stanford swimmer, or you're O.J. Simpson or Michael Jackson, if you're really rich and you have great lawyers, they buy you reasonable doubt. Because they say, first of all, hey, you can't talk about any other case. We're talking about this case. There's good reasons for that, but then the jury has no idea if he's been charged with this 2 times, 20 times, or just the one case, and that's the only one they see. And then they talk about the history of the people who are charging him. So they make it about the victim.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you got a lot of doubt. I had doubt after I talked to his lawyer, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And then they go and work every angle to exclude evidence so that the jury can't see it. So we don't know why, if this was excluded or why it was excluded. But you saw it in the O.J. Simpson case. A lot of the evidence was excluded because the defense attorneys were excellent. They found one legal reason or another to exclude the evidence. So next thing you know, the jury didn't get the full picture, and they reasonably had reasonable doubt. And even they came out and said, I'm not saying he didn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that they didn't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt.
Exactly.
And when you see all of this, look, he's passed away now, so there's no convicting him in the court of public opinion. But sometimes the court of public opinion has more evidence, not less. You see what I'm saying? It's perverse because you shouldn't try anyone and decide for sure, oh, I know he's guilty until you've seen all the evidence. But in our system, oftentimes the jury doesn't see all the evidence.
Right.
So, either way, I know people are going to stick to their positions on Michael Jackson because for some people, this is almost an identity issue. They identify with Michael Jackson so much, having nothing to do with race or anything else other than they grew up with his music, they loved his music, they loved him, and they're not going to reject him under any circumstances. But a lot of the evidence is in, and it is not good.